interface. But one thing that's important to note is that content collection, if you could go to that, Lacey, this is a collection of all of your content by course and your My Online Storage, what used to be called your My Online Storage, which is at the very top of the menu here on the left-hand side. So if you clicked on that and you had previously organized your content in your courses to be connected to your central content area, that is where you will find that content now. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and go into the Blackboard Ultra course, and we'll kind of go through some of those steps and just look at the different and kind of compare it to the classic course that most of us are used to. So let's go ahead. So to find that, for me, it's a master course. So I would go up to the upper left and click master courses. And it should be there, but it could be under current courses for some reason. Okay, interesting. And in this case, it's actually a master course, but it's in current courses as well.
Because it's set to continuous.
Continuous, okay. I appreciate everyone being really flexible with me on this workshop as well. So we'll go ahead and just kind of look at the different components of the Ultra course. So you'll notice that it's like sleeker than the classic version. And the main difference is that there's less clicks to complete a task. So just as an example, we'll go over to our PowerPoint and we'll just kind of look at the different options. So in the classic, there's several additional menu options that aren't present in the Ultra course. So for example, there's like an announcements and a syllabus option, but in the Ultra, you add that in on your own. So you can really customize Ultra, where classic, there's a few more clicks in there. We'll go ahead and look at the classic course, just kind of what you guys are used to. So under the announcements, you'll see that it's a little bit kind of outdated maybe looking. And if we look at the Ultra feel, it's just a newer look. It's like brighter, cleaner colors. And we'll go ahead and kind of look at some of those main feature comparisons and then try some of those out in the course too. And no, we're not going to go through all like 15 of them, but I'll just kind of point out the major changes. So the Ultra courses, not all of the tools are available, but those are being updated monthly. So every month you can check back and you might notice, for example, test pools will be available. So if it's not this month, check back in July, the beginning of July, to see if it is there. So some of the differences that Ultra does have is that it does have course tools, but it's now called books and tools. So you might be used to the course tool option, and it took me a couple of times to remember it was under books instead. One thing that's really interesting to me is that it also has the embed videos, because I know a lot of faculty use those to put up their kind of lectures through Panopto or maybe YouTube. We'll go to the next list. It does have some of those same great options of Zoom and VoiceThread, as well as Piazza, which is another alternative discussion board forum. You can also do Panopto videos and blogs and journals. We're still working on the Respondus lockdown for Ultra, so that is kind of one main difference. So if you like locking that down for assessments, that's only available in Classic at this time. Okay, just a couple of major changes comparing Classic to Ultra. The menus have changed, and so has the student preview mode. So Ultra is releasing these every month, or additional updates, as well as Safe Assign for test short answer questions. And we'll go.
That is available now. Oh, there's no short answer question.
There's correct, right? So Meg said there's no short answer questions yet. So just to clarify, there is no short answer questions. Yeah. And then we'll just go ahead and go into the actual course just so you can see some of those options. So we'll just kind of go over books and tools. So if we click on that little blue link, there's an additional menu that pops up. And if you don't see your tool, you can go under the other link that says Browse All, and it will pull up the rest of the items available. And we'll just go ahead and add a common tool just so you can see what that looks like and where to find it in your course. So we'll just go ahead and add a Turnitin assignment just because that's pretty popular. And we'll go ahead and go to the plus sign at the bottom of that icon. We're going to add it. For the course content, anytime you add an assignment, it actually populates at the bottom of the menu. So we'll go ahead and just add another activity just so you can see that really quick. We'll do a voice thread this time. So if you notice, the voice thread populated at the bottom. So sometimes if you can't find the assignment you just added, you just have to scroll down to the bottom to move it up. And to move it up, you actually have to put your mouse on the link or on the assignment link, and you'll see the up and down arrow. You just click and you can drag up and down, and you'll know that you've selected it because it's outlined in purple, and you can adjust that as well. And it's any assignment that you add is automatically hidden from students. So you have to go assignment by assignment to go ahead and adjust that. And it's just a little chevron next to the hidden from students. And we'll make our voice thread available. The other options are roster. And we'll go ahead and click on that. So you can see everybody in the course. So currently it's just myself. But in your course, you would definitely see your students and any other faculty or instructors that are co-teaching. Oops, there it goes, attendance. That's where you can add attendance, and it pops up on the right-hand side. And it's presented by student name. So if you had students in the course, it might say, I'll pick on Meg because she's here. It would say, Meg, yes, she's absent. Oh, she was late. And if you assign points to that, you can definitely do that as well. We'll go ahead and cancel. Okay, so we're going to go and look at the top couple options in the upper right. So the content looks like a little book, and that's the main feed. And we'll let Meg add a little note to that as well, which is definitely cool.
Hi, sorry, no, I actually wanted to make a comment about the attendance, which is it's a new feature in Ultra courses, and it could come in very handy if you, for instance, have a large class and it might be a hybrid format, and you want to keep track of the students that did show up in the face-to-face session. That gives you a roster that you can just check them off as present or not present on that particular part of the week.
Perfect, thank you, Meg. We'll go ahead and continue to look at the options at the upper right. So the second one looks like a calendar, and it is. So it's the same link that's in the main menu. So there was an option that said calendar. It's the same one where you can add assignments, their due dates, or just any events that you have in general, right? And again, there's that little plus sign where you can add the course in there. The next option is discussions, and discussion boards, we can add in a discussion board just like you can in Classic. It's the same idea. If you wanted to add in a Piazza, we would actually add it to the course content menu. But we'll go ahead and just add in a regular discussion board just so you can see that kind of new look and feel. So we hit add at the top. That's where you would title it. So we'll just say discussion 1 here. And at the bottom, that's where you're actually going to type the prompt. And we'll just say discussion board, right? and then we'll go ahead and save. Right, and then there will be a list of all the students and their responses as well. On the right-hand side is where you can see the discussion board settings, and that's if we hit the little like cog wheel, you'll see like the different options. So you can decide if you want the discussion board graded. You can go ahead and click that option. You can also adjust it by date, how you want it graded, points, percentage, and what the maximum score is. So we'll just do, we'll submit one for grading just so you can see what that looks like. We'll participate by today and we'll make it worth 10 points and we'll save. And then on the right hand side, you'll see those options that you selected. And Meg, my dear, would you like to add?
Yes, I wanted to add a hallelujah to this because now you can create one discussion and make it a group assignment.
Very cool. I do like that too. And you can also do the Piazza as well. We'll go ahead and go back. There we go. And again, it's automatically done as hidden. So you have to do the little chevron next to where it says hidden and make it visible. So that's definitely one thing that took me some adjusting when I was first learning Ultra. Make everything visible. The next item is gradebook. So there's a little icon, it's like a paper and a pencil. Here, it's definitely a totally different look than Classic. Basically, oops, there we go. Here you can see that there's the attendance and then it's the assignment that we just added, which is the discussion board. So we'll go ahead and just click on the item, which is attendance. And here we go. And as Meg pointed out, we could do the group attendance in there as well. So it's in two places. The discussion board, we'll go ahead and click on there. We'll pretend Meg's in here. We would see Meg and then we could assign her a grade, just like a regular grade book. And what's cool is you can see the status column. So you know, hey, I need to go ahead and grade that discussion, or all of the discussions are graded. So it's a really good overview. And to organize these items, it's the same as the course content, where there's the up and down arrow next to the assignment. So if we click it, it should highlight in purple. Right, so you can reorder those any which way you want to. And then we're going to look at those three little dots for more options. We can go ahead and edit. So that's where you can, edit the name, the topic, and the point values for those assignments. Do we want to add anything, Meg?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I just wanted to say that that's kind of a nice feature too, that we can reorganize the columns right here, because we couldn't do that. We would have to go to manage column organization to do that before. Thank you.
Are you going to also show the other view of the Grade Center?
Yeah. And then we'll go ahead and go over to messages. And that's where the messages between the professor and the students would happen. So these aren't the emails, it's just messages within the course itself. And then we'll go ahead and look at our PowerPoint and kind of go through some of those items as well. So the next slide is communication inside the courses. So that kind of goes along with that messaging feature. So in the Classic version, you can send emails from the course and announcements inside the course. Compared to Ultra, where there's announcements, they're handled as messages, but there is an option where you can select it to be emailed in there. And we'll go ahead and kind of compare the grade books between Classic and Ultra a little bit. So we'll go ahead and stay in Ultra, and then we can just kind of talk about the differences. Let's see. Okay. So in the Ultra course, there's a lot fewer options, but if we go to the little cog wheel in the upper left, it's settings. And that's where you can go ahead and add your new categories. So for example, you could add in if we added a new category, we'll just call it tests, even though I think that's in there. We'll just add it, and it should appear at the top. And the categories that are on this list are they're like mandated, basically. They're already given to you guys. So the only ones that you can really edit are the ones that have the 3 dots next to them. So let's say we don't like the tests because we realize it's already there. We can just hit the delete category button. So if you notice, like the preloaded topics like assignment, there's not those 3 dots that have the delete option or edit. So we have to leave those in there. But you definitely do not have to add in that topic if you don't want to. If we go to the top, there's a current grading schema. The default is default letter, which is the kind of traditional A+ to the F. And you can adjust your percentages in there in grade values. Yes, May?
Well, I wanted to say that I'm really grateful that this is right out in the open now, and that there is only one possible grading schema in each course. And because it's so visible, you have an opportunity to just click on that and edit the one that's in there instead of having to choose another one. And that has been a feature that's sort of been behind the scenes, and instructors really never knew what the grading schema was that was attached to their final grade calculation. So fortunately, some of them were going by the default, what is called a default letter grade, but some of them actually did have a variation on that and would have had to change their grading schema within their Blackboard Grade Center. Now they can just go to the gradebook settings and see what the grading schema is and change it right there if they need to.
Okay, perfect. So we'll go ahead and close that. And we'll go ahead and see if Meg would like to add anything else just overall to the presentation.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you, Lacey. Can you mute your microphone for a second? Okay. I wanted to say that the Grade Center is still very different than the Classic. It is still in development, I think, and creating a weighted grade is a little bit not as obvious or not done the same way. So if you wanted to set up a grade center with a weighted total, it's important to come and sit with one of us probably at this point, because you can't select columns and categories. You have to put everything into a category in order to create a weighted total. So it's a little different than it has been. But I would just encourage you to sit with one of the instructional designers or our admin guys here if you're planning on doing that. So those are my comments, and I'm looking that there might be a couple questions. The question is, can we email individual students in Ultra in the announcement area?
Okay, sorry, I'll mute myself there. You can definitely email students. We'll go back to the communication slide. You can definitely email them directly through Ultra. The announcements are handled as messages and can be emailed, which is an option that you have to select to specify.
I think you found the answer to that.
You found it? Okay, and I can kind of leave that slide up as well. Was there another question or anything in there?
He said thank you.
Okay. And we'll just go ahead and leave it up for the next couple minutes. If you guys have any questions, you can definitely put it in the chat and we'll address those. And we'll just kind of go through the last couple slides as we're doing that. So the last couple slides basically look at some of the functions that we would use Blackboard for. So basically you guys could look at your course, and then you can even share how you use some of those features in Blackboard. So you can definitely do that in the chat as well, right? How you use some of maybe the discussion board or just some of those additional tools.
We have a question.
And we have a question. Yes, Meg?
How can I hold an online office hour with students?
Oh, that's a really good question. So You can either do it through Blackboard Collaborate, just like you could in Classic, or you can do a Zoom meeting. So I'll go ahead and just add, whoops, one too far. I'll go ahead and add in a Zoom meeting just so you can kind of see what that looks like. So if we're in the Blackboard course, we're going to go ahead and go to Books and Tools, and we have to select the More option. And then we scroll all the way down, because it's alphabetical, to where it says Zoom, and we add the little plus sign, and it populates at the bottom of the bottom of the menu. So if you'd like to adjust that again, you just hit those little arrows to drag it to where you want to. We're going to unhide that, make it visible, and we're going to select those 3 dots, and we're going to edit. And that's where you can add a description, you can allow class conversation, and we'll just hit save. We'll go ahead and look at some more of those details, right at Zoom, and it will go to a third party. So we're going to go ahead and select the launch button, and that's where you would go ahead and log in with your NetID and then set up kind of those more specifics within Zoom. Did I answer that? Is that okay?
Yes, can you click it again without clicking on the launch? I'm just curious to see if it launches by itself without intervention. So don't click on that.
Don't click on anything, okay?
Okay, because that's a little bit different.
Yeah, so it sounds like from what Meg said, there is kind of a difference when you hit that launch button.
Well, you're actually,
because I'm in Zoom.
Yeah, I was going to say that the fact is that we have that's why even logging in shouldn't be necessary, but it's conflicting with the current Zoom session. So that's fine. We already have our microphone and video camera committed to another tool. So not the best thing to demonstrate right now.
Hey, you live and you learn. Okay. So and let's say you don't want an assignment. So let's say I really don't like that turn it in. We'll go ahead and select those 3 little dots to the right of the assignment, and we'll just hit delete. And yes, I'm sure. And then it's removed from there. Okay, and we'll go back to the PowerPoint. Yep, and again, you can send in any ideas that you have on how you personally use some of these features in your course. So we can share those with the group, or you can definitely send in any other questions. So the next slide is the Ultra Blackboard. It has a new look and feel, and there's no Java, which basically is the code, is one of the coding that it uses. And there's no downloads that you have to do. So basically that means that you don't have to have the students download various programs, right?
The launcher.
Launcher, yeah. Yep.
Unless they're not logged into Blackboard. So.
And then the reason we care about Java is because if you're moving a course from Classic to Ultra, the discussion boards will stop working, which is based on the Java coding. So we did that for a course for the online campus, and we went from Classic, and because it doesn't use Java, which Classic does, all the discussion boards stopped working. So we had to manually put those in again. So that's just one kind of thing to think about if your course is being transferred over, that we might have to add in those discussion boards a second time.
That relates to a question that we have from Kevin. How easy is it to import a created course? So how can we do a course copy into an Ultra course?
Oh, how to do it? Okay. We'll go ahead and see. No, I'll go ahead and show how you can make a course copy of a Classic and then of an Ultra, and we can kind of look at those different options. So let's say you want to make a course copy of an Ultra course. You would go to next to where it says Books and Tools, and then you would select Copy Content here, and then you would select the course you're talking about. And we'll go through the classic one, like as to convert it, basically.
Well, here's a good question. When you created our Blackboard training course,
Yes.
and you created, you were using originally a classic course.
Mhm.
Did you copy the classic course into an ultra course?
Actually, honestly, that was done before I got here, but I do know how to do that. So what I'll do is open up a classic course and kind of go from there. The one main, I don't want to call it an issue, but issue is that the course that you're copying and the one that you're copying into, it has to be selected that it's the instructor choice, whether you want to copy it into Ultra or Classic. So if you're in a Classic course and you want to go to Ultra, but your Classic course is only, the instructor choice is only for Classic, you won't be able to copy it into an Ultra course. So it's kind of at the very basic design level when the actual shell was created.
Okay, that makes sense.
But
So here's what that tells me, is that if you have a classic course and you want it to become an ultra course,
Mhm.
you're better off not converting the destination course yet into an ultra course. You're better leaving it classic. So you copy from classic to classic, and then you convert the new course into the ultra format.
Right, so that was a really good point, that let's say your classic course, was assigned classic on its development. We could like make a course copy and change that option for you in the copy. And then we could copy the copy into an ultra shell. So
Here's also another point about that that's really important, and that's another reason why this is a great question from Kevin. There will still be some conflicts. It is not going to be a perfect copy because they are just not compatible in the framework itself. So there will still be plenty of content that you're going to have to move around. But for the most part, the items will carry over, but you will need to restructure some of your folders.
Yep, exactly.
And reset your assignments.
And the discussion boards. That was one big issue that we came across when we were doing the online course for the online campus, was none of the discussion boards carried over. But again, the instructional designers can help you guys if you have a lot of those. You can feel free to reach out to us. But I'll go ahead and show you, we're in the classic version of a course, and we'll go ahead and show you kind of how to look at how to do a course copy and look at kind of those different options that we can do for you guys. So we're going to go to utilities and packages and then course copy. And this is what the instructional designers see. So you're getting like behind the scenes right here. But at the top, if you want to copy into we have three options: a new course, an existing course, or a course copy with users, so like students. So for this one, we would copy, let's say we're going from classic to ultra. We would want to copy into a new course here. And that course would have already had to be created. So we'll just make one up for right now. We'll just say test 101 or 01. We're going to select all, and then we can kind of adjust those settings depending on your preferences for your new course. And we're not going to actually do it, of course, but we'll go ahead and cancel. Yeah, just want to make sure.
Okay, very good.
There we go.
Thank you.
Do you want to add anything else, Meg, to that, or you think we covered that?
No, I think we covered it.
We covered it? Okay, just want to make sure. I appreciate everybody being really flexible. It's my first time, I shouldn't tell you that, but
you're doing an excellent job.
So I do appreciate everyone being flexible as I'm talking to myself right now.
All right, are there any more questions? You are doing great, Lacey.
All the positive support, I appreciate it.
Everything is fine.
Okay, So we'll go to the next slide, which is probably the best slide for you guys. We're done. So you can go ahead and claim your badge. You just have to go to the csuespay.credly.com link to create an account or to log in. I'll go ahead and leave that up for a couple of minutes if you guys have access to a computer right now. You would just use your preferred email and then email to verify your account. And that's just to set up your account. And then you would claim your credit at the top of the web page, and you would enter the code for the workshop from the course catalog.
We do have another question.
Yes.
Kevin has asked, can we do a practice copy? May I answer that?
Sure.
Yes, Kevin, but let us give you a master shell that's empty before you go copying. Don't do it into your fall course. Sounds good. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll leave those instructions up for just another minute or so. But if you have any questions, you can definitely contact Blackboard support or the instructional designers, and that's kind of the next slide with our contact information.
Okay, we have another question,
Sure.
which is great. This is from Eric Kong. Is there a timeline as to when every course will need to be in Ultra?
Oh, so Ultra on the record is optional, although we're strongly encouraging it. So word on the street is like the next 2 years. You didn't hear that from me, but it is optional at this point. But the next 2 years, that's kind of when we're hoping all the courses will be to Ultra.
Yeah. One of the main reasons for the Ultra course conversion has to do with the number of students and just the number of hits, in fact, that we are getting in Blackboard sessions from mobile devices. Students are, whether we lead them that way or not, they are really demanding more convenience out of their learning options, and the Ultra course is highly responsive as compared to the classic course. The main challenges right now are the differences that we will experience in some of the power user type features, as we might call it. But I think it depends on the course. It depends a little bit on your students and whether you're just presenting information or you're using a lot of the more sophisticated features at this time. The Blackboard Ultra course features are still being developed, really.
And they are added monthly as well.
Yes, you can notice that we're having 5 or 6 or 7 updates every time that we have an update. A lot of changes are going into the Ultra course.
Definitely. And if you guys are interested, this is kind of the back end, but if you go to Blackboard support, there's actually Blackboard release notes. And it's basically a description of all the releases for that month. So if you're not 100% sure, let's see if I can find it really quick. Oops, let me add a tab over here. Blackboard support release notes. We'll try this one. Okay, I don't want to show you a bunch of random pages. In our drive, okay. Yeah. Well, it was on the Blackboard support site. I just have to dig. You have to.
Is it on our website as well?
Yeah, it's on the Blackboard support website.
Okay.
For the specific release notes, if you're interested in that.
Here's a question from, I'm not sure who this is. Can we switch one course into Ultra and the other in Classic, or each instructor's account has to be consistent either in Classic or Ultra? That's Guo. Hi, Guo. I'm glad you finally made it.
Oh, that's a really good question. So if you just wanted to like test run to see if you even like Ultra, we can just do one of your courses. And if you decide you really like the features, we can add them all. So we can change it basically at any time. Well, I would do it when the course is over, just so there's not a huge transition for the students.
Can you show the claim code again as well?
The claim thing, yeah.
Kevin asked, is the claim code add code from OC catalog? Oh, no. Oh, you were supposed to put the code down here on your slide.
That's the
Do you have the code number? We can email it to you, okay? We'll get that and email it to you, or if you can get it quickly enough, can you?
Sure. We can look that up really quickly. That's why we have Meg keeping me on track. Workshops? Okay.
Yeah, so go to the OC campus workshop schedule or
Training, okay. There we go. I think that's correct, right? Yeah, we'll go ahead and just email that to you guys. I apologize, I dropped the ball on there, but we'll go ahead and email everybody here in just a couple of minutes with that. And then we'll go ahead and pull up the questions, just contact information basically. So you can go ahead and copy that down if you so choose, but the general helpline is just to online campus in general, and then you can, request specific people or, type in that extension. And then the Blackboard support are the LMS admin. So if you've ever worked with Derek or Manpreet, that's kind of our Blackboard support for the entire campus. So those guys are slammed all the time. But are there any other questions or anything that coming up?
You did great, Lacey. Thank you, Meg. Nope, we're looking good. We will email you the catalog number. You're welcome.
Welcome. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and shut the course down and email you guys in just a minute. So I appreciate it. You guys did it. Yay.